What is up, you YouTubers? This is HarpyHunter89, and the voices in my head coming at you from the Duelist Den. And for today, I've got my Chaos Trickstar deck profile. Now, a few weeks back, just after Regionals, I debuted my Trickstar Kaiju profile. But I finally have all the cards I need for my Chaos variant, and with the ban list now being dropped, this deck just got so much better. So, as this is a deck that a lot of people have wanted me to profile, I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. First up, we have our Maxie. This, pretty self-explanatory as to why this is in here. I run 2 copies of Lilybell. Lilybell, most people only run 1 copy of Lilybell. I feel that's really not a good idea, because if you draw that first copy of Lilybell, it's it's more or less useless in your hand unless you don't have any other plays to go into. But having 2 in your deck gives you the ability to search for the second one and use its effects if you need to do so. Then, of course, you run the standard 3 Lycoris. Lycoris burns your opponent every time they add a card from their deck to your hand, and it can special summon itself to the field. Got 3 Candinas. This is the primary searcher of the deck, as it allows you to search pretty much any of your Trickstar cards. Triple Honest, because, Honest is finally at 3 again. So, you really need to run 3 of them, as all of your Trickstars are light monsters. 2 Blackluster Soldiers. I'm kind of sad. One of my Blackluster Soldiers is only a common, and the other one's a gold, so they're kind of mismatched. But I do have the 2 BLS, or Blackluster Soldiers. This was actually a surprise coming off the ban list from 1 to 2. I'm really happy it is, because a lot of Chaos builds ran this, but they've very rarely seen it because it was limited. But with it at 2, it does give you the ability to get into it a lot more often. I run 2 Eater of Millions. Most Chaos variants run 3. I felt 3 was just a bit too cloggy for the deck, so I brought it down to 2. This allows you to get over things like Masterpiece or Dark Magician, for example. Just big old boss monsters that you normally wouldn't be able to get over. I only run 2 Gofus in the deck. Again, 3 Gofus just seemed really too cloggy to me, as you cannot normal summon it, and it can only be special summoned if you control no monsters. So 3 just really felt way too cloggy to me. It is really balanced at 2 in this deck. I run 2 copies of Necroface. You may be wondering why I'm running 3 copies of Necroface. Well, first of all, of course, Reincarnation banishes itself to special summon Trickstars, and if you summon Necroface, you can shuffle it back into your deck. Furthermore, this also works really great if you've used a couple of Pot of Desires this turn or during the game, as it can shuffle all of those banished cards back into your deck as well and get a huge attack boost off of it. For the field wipes, I of course run 1 Dark Hole and 1 Regeki. Like I said in my Cosmo video, I'm really sad that Dark Hole got bumped down to 1. I understand why it did, but it's really sad. I run 2 Pot of Desires. Now, for those of you who know me, I am a big anti-Pot of Desires guy, but running the Necroface on this deck actually gives Pot of Desires more playability in it, as you can use Necroface to shuffle those banished cards back into your deck so that you can use them. I only run 2 Terraformings. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. If you are only running 3 field spells, running 3 Terraformings is a really bad idea, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to dead draw into them. And I was really iffy about running even 2 Terraformings in this deck, because Light Stage can be searched off of Candina, but you don't always want to search Light Stage off of Candina. So running the 2 Terraformings I feel is balanced. If you don't know how I run Terraformings, I usually go 1 Terraforming for every 2 field spells. And granted, there are only 3, but you get my drift on this. So 2 Terraforming is really all you need for the deck. That way you don't dead draw into the 3rd one. I only run 2 Chain Summonings in the deck. The reason I only run 2 in here is because, while running 3, you can increase your chances of seeing it, but you won't be able to resolve the 3rd one if you do get it. So 2 I felt was just a lot better idea. Again, because you don't want to dead draw into 1. I run 2 Shared Rides. Shared Rides is a pretty fun card. It's a pretty great tech card in any deck, as almost every deck these days searches. It works really great in the mirror match as well. But what Shared Ride does is whenever your opponent adds a card from their deck to your hand, except by drawing it, you can draw a card. So it's very, very similar to Maxie. Now, like I said, I mean, it only works if they add a card from their deck to their hand without drawing it, but pretty much every deck these days uses a lot of searchers, at least all the top tier decks. Dark Magicians has searchers, Dinos has searchers, Mirror Match, Trickstars has searchers. You know, so this card is a very, very good tech card, and a lot of people won't ever see it coming. Got the 2 Dark Room of Nightmares. This is just to help push the burn damage a little bit more. 3 Light Stage. Light Stage not only helps push your burn damage, but it also allows you to search a card or a Trickstar card when it's activated. I run 2 Disturbance Strategies. I would like to put present cards in this deck, but I unfortunately do not have present cards yet. I am working on that, but Disturbance Strategy still works pretty great in the deck as well. It pretty much forces your opponent to draw cards. Now, present card is a lot better in the deck, as you know, it forces your opponent to draw 5 cards regardless of how many they have in their hand. But for right now, I've only got the 2 Disturbance Strategies. Once I get my present cards, these will come out of the deck for the present cards, though. Then I, of course, run the triple Reincarnation. A lot of people thought Reincarnation was going to get limited merely because, you know, of what happened with the OCG ban list. But, you know, the OCG ban list and TCG ban list don't necessarily go hand in hand. They have it for a very, very long time. So I actually, was not surprised when this didn't get touched. But Reincarnation, not only does it force your opponent to draw cards, but you can banish this from the graveyard to special summon a Trickstar from your grave. And like I said earlier, Necroface can shuffle this back into the deck in order for you to use it again. For the extra deck, I run a Blackwing Armor Master. The reason I run this is because if you can get your Lilybell on the field with Gofu, you can easily go into this, and this can't be destroyed by battle. You take no battle damage from battles involving this, and it has the ability to reduce your opponent's attack, the attack of your opponent's monsters to 0. So this is a very, very powerful card. Run 1 Stardust Dragon, just because, field wipes are still an issue. We still have Slumber, Regeki, Dark Hole. Even though they're all at 1, we still have them around. A lot of people have been finding alternate, destruction cards. There are cards like Twin Twisters out there, things like that. But, anti-destruction is very, very good in this deck. Then I, of course, have Scarlight Red Dragon Archfiend, 1 copy of that. Scarlight helps push your burn damage, and it gets a very, very useful 3000 beat stick out on the field. For the Xyz monsters, I run a Wind Up Zenmains, anti-destruction, and it allows you to pop a card. 1 Gaga Cowboy. This, helps push the burn damage a little bit, and it can get over any monster with 2900 or less attack points. 1 Abyss Dweller, just because, we don't like people's effects activating in the graveyard. This works really great in the mirror match because you can use this to stop their reincarnations in the mirror match. So it is actually a very, very good card. 2 Honor Arcs. I run Honor Arcs because, I don't like my opponent putting Link monsters on the field. And if they have a Link monster in their extra monster zone, put an Honor Arc on the field, take their Link monster. Enough said. 1 Tornado Dragon. Tornado Dragon, pretty self-explanatory. It allows you to pop a spell or trap card on the field. And you can use the effect during either player's turn. I've got 2 Proxy Dragons in the deck. This helps me get my extra deck plays off. Now, I probably should have mentioned this before I went into the extra deck. You don't really need to use the extra deck in order to make this work, or in order for this deck to work, but having access to the extra deck does help it if you need it. I, of course, also run 3 Trickstar Holly Angels. A lot of people run 1, possibly 2 if they're feeling antsy. I like running 3 in the deck because, I hate running into solo mornings and shit. Then, of course, 1 Decode Talker. I'm actually thinking about taking the Decode Talker out. Well, not actually. Once I get my Firewall Dragon, this will be taken out of the deck for Firewall Dragon. But until I get that Firewall Dragon, Decode Talker is what I'm going with. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile. As always, guys, make sure you like this videos and subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you thought about the deck down in the comment section below. And until next time, this is Harpy89 and the voices in my head. Just want to say Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not just a game. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is life.